pretty hilarious moment yesterday. Bryan Stelter went on The View and Meghan McCain asked him to account for some of the interesting conversations. Tapes of Tucker Carlson has revealed showing Chris Cuomo giving advice to Michael Cohen, Jeff Zucker, the president of CNN, basically saying all these nice and laudatory things about Trump. Also asking Bryan about Chris Cuomo interviewing his brother Andrew Cuomo, not pushing back against him in the middle of this horrific pandemic outbreak in the state of New York. Bryan had this to say.
I know there's more point of view these days, although we will never top The View, I think. I think the reason why we're doing it, though, I think the reason why we have these monologues is because it's the best way to cut through all the noise and get to the news. You know, to say, for example, the media is not the enemy of the American people or the enemy of Republicans. The media is the enemy of liars, and we can debunk lies through these essays. But it is an issue. I do agree it's an issue that sometimes it all sounds like opinion, even though I think what we're doing is more trying to give perspective on the news, trying to defend truth and decency and democracy, which frankly wasn't as necessary 5 years ago as it is today.
So, Krystal, that was a part of a larger answer there, both on the question that we were posed, but also being asked straight up, are you an opinion network or are you a news network? And this guy with a straight face says that Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo's shows are not opinion networks. They are news. And that doing these news monologues is the best way to expose liars. You just can't.
It's perspective on the news. That's what it is, Saagar. Down the middle, perspective. Look, we should all be clear about what all these networks are doing. They're after a profit. I mean, that's
fine.
What it's all about.
Just admit the game.
That's what the Zucker Trump tapes really expose. I mean, they love Donald Trump when it comes to ratings. They love that he's in the White House. They love to hate him every moment of every day and look, there's plenty to object to, but does literally every story end with the moral Trump is bad? Is that literally every story framed around the moral Trump is bad? You start to go, maybe there are a few things that you might be leaving out. But the thing that drives me, I have no problem with opinion. We do opinion here. We're very upfront about what our perspectives are, what our goals are for the country, who we're aligned with. All of those things we're very upfront about. No problem with that. The thing I have a problem with is when people pretend to be neutral journalists when they are absolutely not.
Yeah,
and
this right here.
It's just, it's cartoonish. You look at the numbers, we covered them here, of what the partisan breakdown is in terms of cable news outlets. And CNN did a little bit better than MSNBC and Fox, but not much.
No,
I think
75%.
17% of Republicans watch CNN, and that's probably at the airport when they're absolutely forced to.
When you're forced to a hostage situation to watch CNN in an airport. Stelter there is just, it's so incredibly dishonest to be like, oh, well, we're just telling the truth. And if the truth pisses off Republicans, so be it, right? I mean, we're calling out the liars. And
were you telling the truth on Russiagate?
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Well, how were they telling the truth? Whenever CNN's, Chris Cuomo was interviewing his brother, joking about their size of their noses, whenever there are literal old people dying in nursing homes, you tell me. And so it's just, there's so many different lapses in judgment and in terms of that break through their objectivity veneer. They should just admit the game. That's what it really is all about to me. Just say it. Don Lemon is a flaming liberal and he speaks to 700,000 or 800,000 people a night. Who cares? Fine. Same with Chris Cuomo. He does this whole thing where he shouts a lot. All good. It's just one of those things where there is a market for it. A small market, but there's a market. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But to pretend that is the truth, the only truth that there is, just utterly ridiculous.
But the thing is that I think that a lot of them really believe that. I think a lot of
believe it.
And that's the thing is it's not that they're putting on a show and I think Bryan really believes what he's saying there, and I think of course Cuomo would tell you with a straight face that he really questioned his brother hard and he really is just a down the middle guy calling balls and stuff. I think they really believe it, but the reason that you end up in that slot is because you're able to delude yourself in that in that sanctioned way that's very profitable ultimately for the corporation. I'm really curious to see how CNN positions himself if there is a Biden administration, if Trump is gone. Look, if Trump is still here, it's the greatest ratings bonanza ever for all of these people, and the executives will be perfectly happy despite whatever public hand-wringing and moralizing they may do. I am curious how they position themselves in a Biden era, because they have been very pro-Biden. They were very pro-Biden in the primary. MSNBC was like absurdly pro-Biden in the primary and continues to be like laughably in the tank for him. So what are these people going to do if he is the president and you're supposed to be adversarial, you're supposed to be oppositional? Will they actually take that up? Will they shift a little bit, back to towards the center, towards that calling balls and strikes? Will they just be in the tank for him? It's going to be interesting to see.
No chance that any of that is going to happen, given how they have covered the vice president currently. As I said, the last time they were able to ask him a question unprompted, it was, will you take the gloves off, Mr. Vice President?
Tough questions there.
Right. Okay.
Oh, by the way, Biden's going to be on a CNN town hall.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
So,
there you go.
Nice segue there. We'll cover it for you tomorrow. Tomorrow on Rising Battlegrounds, going to look at the state of the Senate and presidential races in North Carolina. And friend of the show, David Sirota, is going to join us as well. Plus, Team Rising will be back for our Friday panel with Democratic strategist Andrew Feldman. You know you love him. And Washington Examiner policy writer Tom Rogan.
That's right. Remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos. And don't forget to like and share as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Have a great day, everybody.